So, second video in dating series. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I just came up with this idea right now because I was like, there are probably a lot of females out there who would benefit from maybe hearing about my my situation. But the next thing that I wanted to discuss in the series would be, is it necessary to have a list? And everyone, whether you're a man or a woman, I think everyone can agree with me that we all have these, you know, qualities or these attributes that we want to assign to someone who would be like our future partner, right? Or life partner, soulmate, what have you. And so, Bonnie, yeah. I'm gonna pause and back it for a little bit. For me specifically, I would say that I do have some qualities and things that I would like to see in a partner. I actually wrote a list down when I was like several years ago, and I put it in a little like pouch that I wanted like my Nana to watch over, my Nana who passed away. And I don't know, I guess I believe that if she was watching over me, and you know, I thought maybe she would grant the wish of like meeting a nice guy one day. And Bonnie, yeah, I think it is important to have a list. In my opinion, I think it is important because it's kind of like, you think of the rubric or what to go off of when you want to date someone, right? But also at the same time, you don't want to completely and solely rely on that, because at the end of the day, what if you are missing out on a really great person because you, hold on, let me, 2 seconds. I need to give her more water. Hold on. Okay, so as I was saying, I do want to light my candle because every time I say light my candle, it reminds me of the musical Rent. And there's a song with Adam Pascal and, oh my god, I forgot the lady's name. It's so way down. Ay, coño. Got it. Oh, that was treacherous. It just smells really good. What was I saying? So I do think it's good to have like a whatchamacallit, a list to go off of, because that gives you a guideline of like, you know, different qualities and things. Like, for instance, I remember, like for me, I'm very big, like I want to be able to talk to someone and have like honest, open conversations with them, you know, like meaningful, substantial, like formidable, like, you know, like where it's, you can talk about anything, that kind of thing. And yeah, so what, Viver? So that's really important to me, being able to have, you know, meaningful conversation, like good conversationalists, like there's rapport and reciprocity. That's really important to me. Not just like one word answers, like, yep, okay, you know. Someone who doesn't engage in drug use, and I don't mean like if you're like someone, if they have like depression, anxiety, I don't mean like that. I mean like someone who gets high all day or does opioids or I don't know, hardcore drugs, things like that. Bonnie, stop. That's important to me. And then what else? Obviously not a liar, not a cheater, not a con artist. You know, like Leo DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can. Definitely not that kind of vibe. What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah. Bonnie, yeah. Stop. And then what else? Bonnie, yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, my dog is like in the background, like, Baby, yeah, stop. What else? I'm trying to think. But those were like the biggest things for me, and I think those are really important. Like if you have like your your deal breakers, I think that's important to have. Bonnie, cálmate por favor. Yeah, stop. Stop. Maybe I should just put the pizza somewhere else. I don't know, because she's really wanting pizza. Stop, Baby. So, yeah. Bonnie, stop. Basta. Stop. I love you, but stop. Yeah, good conversationalist, doesn't do drugs, hasn't broken the law, not a cheater, not a con artist. Oh, this is a big thing. This is a big thing that I've been seeing on Instagram lately. Because a lot of stuff about dating comes up on my feed. I don't know why, but it does. So something that's, for some reason, okay, so this is the weird part about it. A lot of women, Bonnie, yeah, stop. A lot of women would probably disagree with me when I say this. And you can come after me as much as you want, but I'm just gonna say it. People think, okay, yeah, you need to stop, Ever. Stop. Yeah, stop. I'm putting it over here. Now she, let's see what happens now with that, but, so, what has come up a lot on my YouTube feed is about marrying rich or like needing to marry someone who can take care of you financially, right? It's weird because I never, like, growing up, that wasn't something, like, a lot of women would probably disagree with me and say, or my mom, who knows, would say, you want to marry someone who is financially stable or who can take care of you, you know. And it's funny, even right now, like, I'm in bikini bottom. And when I say bikini bottom, I mean, like, because of targeting and all the bullshit I've been through, my financial health suffered immensely because I had to go through my savings, I had to go through my just everything, which is frustrating because I had to move so many times because I didn't feel safe. So and yeah, so you would think that, like, one of the top priorities or the top things that I would wish for in a partner were that he would be rich and wealthy, and it's not. It's actually not. That would be a perk. That would be nice. But to me, I'd rather have the guy who is humble and down to earth, and sensible and smart, and you know, a good-natured individual, you know, who obviously pays his taxes, who you know, obviously doesn't steal, doesn't do anything that's not kosher or whatever. But I would rather have the person who is just has good character and is honest to a fault and doesn't carry himself with like pretentiousness and doesn't think of himself as like, you know, like as God's gift, you know, and the bee's knees kind of thing, you know, like I'm so, like, you know, like Gaston, think of like Gaston in Beauty and the Beast, that kind of character. That's like so unattractive to me. And it's funny because in the Beauty and the Beast, you know, everyone, all the people were fawning over Gaston because he was like, oh my God, and the muscles and the, oh, I do this, you know. And to me, that's not that kind of character. It's not attractive at all. I don't think so. Like if you gave me the choice between a man who's super well off, but his personality is dull and boring and, you know, not adventurous or exciting, but okay and pleasant. There's actually a song in a musical called Songs for a New World by Jason Robert Brown, and it's called The Stars and the Moon, and one of the lyrics at the end, she actually says, she goes through all the lists of these men that were trying to court her, and, you know, one was like a fly-by-night, like, I'll whisk you away and we'll go camping under the stars, and he left his wife, and this and that, and then another one, I forgot what the first one was, but the last one was, she says, I met a man who retired at age 30 who was set for life. And he said, we'll get married and whatever, you'll meet my friends in Paris and in Monaco and Nice, and we'll go to parties, and you'll have, you know, go on my yacht and all of this stuff. And then she said she realized after that she got everything she wanted, but then she wasn't really happy because she didn't get everything. He didn't fulfill her soul in the way that, I thought I just saw literally like an orb. That was weird. I just saw across the screen like a little orb thingy. Maybe there's like an angel or something floating in the ethers. I don't know. I've seen those a few times, like little orbs. So maybe there's an angel or a soul that is from the spirit world. I don't know. Anyways, so I just told myself, I go, if I could have the choice between like a really perfect, oh my God, there's a hole in my shoe. I am like a pauper. I have a hole in my shoe. Anyways, it's okay. But if you gave me the choice between a person that's like has all the bells and whistles and, you know, but he's not adventurous or not adventurous, just not, I don't know, not exciting, because it's not about that. It's just happy, carefree about life, you know, has an optimistic outlook, doesn't qualify himself or judge himself by his bank account, but by his character, you know. That's kind of what I would, that's not what I would want. I would want the person that, you know, is working hard and maybe has a blue collar job, but he makes ends meet and he does what he can, and, you know, or not a blue collar job, just any, whatever, you know, and that's, I'd rather have that and a really great connection with someone than be with someone who's like really well off and that would be nice. Like, I mean, and the thing is, growing up, I felt very privileged. I lived that life. Like, I went out to different restaurants almost like every weekend, and I never worried about food on the table. or like the electricity going out. I had any car that I wanted, basically. I mean, I lived a red carpet childhood, if I'm being serious. And so that lifestyle, wealth and all that, it's not, when you have it, you know, when it's in your possession, it becomes very habitual and customary, you know. So, and in those like the social circles, you meet different people, and you know, it is a lifestyle. It's definitely a lifestyle, but I don't know. I'd rather meet someone who maybe doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Like maybe he's not like super, 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 super rich, but he's trying. I think that's what's most important, at least to me. And a lot of women would contest that and say, oh no, marry someone that's rich and you'll never have to worry for the rest of your life. And you really wonder how many women settle if you go back and you ask them, who was the love of your life? And it may not be the person that they're married to, because, you know, society, family pressure, peer pressure. For me specifically, I don't know, I do feel, to be honest, like for me specifically, I sometimes, and this is very vulnerable of me to say, and I don't mind sharing it, but sometimes because of what I've gone through, and because my bank account is very limited right now, I'm in Bikini Bottom, I feel like sometimes I don't have much to offer to someone besides, you know, my body or my presence and my mind, and I don't know if that's going to be enough for someone, and I don't want to put the burden of debt or things like that on a man, you know, because that would be really shitty. Like, and that's another thing, that if I was dating someone and I found out that the guy was like dirt poor or like broke as shit, you know, but if he's trying, I think that's what counts, and you figure it out together. That's what makes a team, right? You work together and you say, hey, this is where I'm at, but this is where I want to be, and this is what I've been through. And that's what's, you know, especially hard for me, is that I hope a guy will understand that, you know, it wasn't me and my doing where I got into this pit, but like it was because of circumstances and injustices and things like that. So for me, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because it comes with like not necessarily baggage. We all have baggage, but it's more so like, Bonnie, come on, stop looking so dejected. She literally is like, she's like, please give me nuggets. But yeah, so I don't know how it's gonna play out. And if someone would go, oh, why would you, if you're in Bikini Bottom, then why would you not want to marry someone who's super rich and whatever? Because that's your one shot, right? That's your one shot, is you know, you only get one go around in terms of, for me at least, you know, in Catholic religion, all that, divorce is frowned down upon, and you don't, you know, so I take it very seriously. And my situation is very scary because I do feel like I'm in danger, so it makes it that much harder. And trusting people, forget about it. Trusting people is so hard. You know, it's so hard. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but I know I deserve to be loved in the right way. I know I deserve to give myself that love back, you know, because I just know that I do. And hopefully this cookie doesn't make me sick. I don't know. I don't know. We'll know in a little bit if I have a side-splitting pain. But yeah. So we shall see. But do I think a list is necessary? I do think that people should have something to go off of, you know, to as like a framework. And then yeah, maybe I'll do another video, does age matter? But that'll be a whole nother thing. But yeah, so I do think having a list of different qualities does matter. Here, baby, we can do maybe one more nugget. Hopefully I don't get sick from these, I don't know. We'll see. I do have some kind of like a sort of a pain in my side-ish. But Bonnie and I are very strong. We're strong ladies, right, baby? So, yeah. Here we go. But I'll leave it at that. I know I wish it was more content with that, but I do think that having qualities that you know want to have in your person, and if you're someone that watches this and you're already like partnered up and you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, or a spouse, maybe ask yourself, like, I'd be so curious to know, that'd be a good research study, like, but it would have to be a longitudinal study. You'd have to go the first year of marriage, and then the third year, the fifth year, the seventh year, and then could you ask yourself, you know, are you still like as in love with your person as you were when you first met them? So, and that's what I hope for, is that like when I do meet someone that I will like them, you know, or love them as much as I did when I first met them. And also there are some cases where you actually do, I think, grow more in love as time goes on. So it depends. You know, people that have arranged marriages and stuff like that, I don't even know how that would work. Before marriage was literally just something, I think, in terms, Bonnie, stop. It was used as a means to, what's it called? Like something with land, like feudal, in the feudal times where they had to exchange land and stuff like that. So, yeah, but we shall see. I wonder what I don't even know where my list is. It's like, I literally made a list and I've had it with me for years. But I think also some people will say, oh, throw out the list and just go by how you feel with someone. I don't know if that is necessary, you know, because then you might throw so much caution to the wind and you might end up with the wrong person instead of the right one. So, and I think your gut always knows too. So, right? Yeah. I hope this cookie isn't bad. I really hope not. No. Who knows? No. I'll be back. Excuse me. I share my water with her. Anything else? I think that's it. I'm gonna try to eat another piece, but I'm scared to do so. Okay. I should have paused it. I might do this one over. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. That's it for now. But, hopefully things will get better over time. We shall see. But it'll be exciting for people to go on the journey with me. Strangers no less, but you know, maybe I can help someone along the way, because I'm very big on helping people. I will say I am getting a cramp in my side. I don't know if it's from the food or the water, but kind of how my life goes these days with food and whatnot. But I just push through it, right? I don't have any other choice. But thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. And if you are somebody that doesn't have a list of qualities in terms of dating and whatnot, that's okay. You don't need to. I mean, it's really up to you, right? I just think we all do have something like in our head that, you know, some like top 5 deal breakers, and I've shared mine. And there's other things too that I'm really, and I don't mind sharing this. Maybe it'll help someone else. I think there was an exercise someone wanted to do with dating. I heard about. I don't know if it was in Cosmo or if it was in like Vogue or something, but or like a gossip columnist editorial thing. But it did say to like put down, because it was for like manifestation and stuff, and they're like, write down the kind of traits that you want in a partner. And I was very, very specific, and then they said also, what was it? They said you can't attract that kind of person if you yourself are not aligned with whatever it is that you're trying to seek. That was another big thing. Like, if you wanted to attract okay, for example, and this is where I'm going to leave it after this. Let's say you want to attract a well put together, fit individual, right? Like someone who takes care of themselves and their body, they eat right. Like for me, I know I don't eat well. Also, I can't really afford like super, like to make. When I was doing food, I was making really, really good food, like restaurant style, bistro style food. Now I'm kind of like relegated to fast food and pizza because the pizza is buy one get one free, and yeah. So anyways, let's say you're a guy, right? We'll do both guy, but let's say you're a guy and you want to attract a woman who is sensible, smart, well-educated, not pretentious, but just goal-oriented, focused, whatnot. And you yourself are, as a dude, are like kind of lackadaisical, or like you don't have goals, or like you don't have like an aim at life. Like, I'm not trying to make someone like paint them out like if they're a bum, but like, you know what I mean? Like if you're someone, and no shame on someone being a gamer. I love video games. That's like one of my things too, is that if I date someone, that'd be nice if they have I don't care about the buddy. I'm like, if he has not an N64, but like what was the thing I wanted? The Nintendo DS. I sold my Nintendo DS. And yes, I'm in my 30s and I don't care. Like, I like a little Nintendo thing. Like, that's, like, if he had that, and not like bucket loads of money, but like that would be enough for me. I'm such a dork. Anyways, so no shame on gaming, but like, let's say you're someone and you play video games all day, and you want, like, I hate when people categorize people based on numbers, like, oh, he's a 10 or she's a 5, and like, no, just whatever. Like, they're a person, they're not a number. But like, let's say you're a dude and you're like, you want the woman who's like, has her shit together and has goals and like, you know, is goal oriented, directed, whatever. You won't be able to attract that caliber of an individual if you yourself don't exude and possess those attributes, right? So, because think about it. You meet this, let's say hypothetically, dude meets the woman, and I'm sorry, my kidney's like, I don't know what's in the food or if there's a heavy metal, but I'm just gonna push through it because my side is like, eeh. Anyways, let's say dude wants to meet this woman, and she's like, there's a movie, what's it called? She's Out of My League, that kind of thing. But like Jay Baruchel, he did a really good job in the movie. I forgot the actress's name, but she was like this blonde chick, very pretty, and like she usually went out with like the guys that were like, like muscles, shirt, preppy jock guy. Anyways, I don't want to stereotype, but that's what she was going out with before. And then she went out with this other guy who was Jay Baruchel's character. And he was very scrawny, kind of like skinny, kind of like, lanky, like, like you would think, not confident. And somehow, some way, they ended up, I don't think, dating or something in the movie, but I didn't watch the movie. I just know it's called She's Out of My League. But, I don't know what the premise was or like how they ended up meeting, but it's this idea that like you want to, in order to attract what you want, you kind of, and this is where law of attraction comes in, you kind of have to be that which you seek. And I remember I was really big on this one year, and I was like, I want to meet this kind of person, da 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 da. I was so hyper focused on it. I like legit, I kid you not, I was like, I will meet a nice man. And I don't know why I was so obsessed with it. I really don't know why. Like, I literally based my worth on like whether or not, that's so stupid. Looking back, I'm like, you never want to date because like out of desperation or necessity. You want to date because for pleasure and for fun and for companionship, so like for support, because when you come from a place of lack and you're like, please pick me, it's just so annoying. Like, think about how annoying someone will be, like, and you're like, please pick me. It's like, no, enjoy yourself, love yourself, and then enjoy your own company. There's a lot of people going on solo dates too. That's a new trend where people are taking themselves out on dates. I think that's important. I did a lot of that in Philadelphia, and I do not regret it at all. But as I was saying, if you want to attract that kind of person, you kind of have to, what I've learned is that you have to become that person. Not to say that someone's not worthy of some, like, if you flip the script and, like, let's say for me, like, let's say I wanted to attract, Bonnie, yeah. At this point, I really don't, like, my biggest things are, does someone take care of themselves? Do they go to the gym? Even though I should be working out more, but my focus has been elsewhere on just surviving death, so I haven't been able to focus on, exercise and things like that. But I do appreciate when a man, puts effort, not in like a narcissistic way, but like takes care of his body, takes care of his mind, is, family oriented, goal oriented, not narcissistic. That's gross. Like when a guy's all into himself and he's like, I'm so good, like, no, I can't do that. Like, I get it, some guys are very handsome, but like, no, when you're like too handsome, it's like, no, I can't. But what, baby? ¿Qué pasa? What? ¿Qué pasa, Mufasa? So, yeah, I think if you want to attract that caliber person, you kind of have to align yourself and like think about it, because you can't, like, if a dude wants that kind of person in his life, right? The goal-oriented, driven, motivated, smart, kind, whatever woman. Bonnie, yeah, porfa, stop. Bad manners, stop. It'll be very hard for, it would be very hard for that guy to attract that woman. That's just the way it is. So does it help to have a list? Yes, it does. Because it helps guide you in the direction of the kind of person that you say, hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with this kind of person. And then you can move forward from there. And if you look at that list and you say, do I possess these attributes? And if you don't, and you feel kind of like you don't resonate with that energy, then you kind of have to figure out, I think, ways to get yourself to align with that. Because that person on the paper, that dream person that you conjured up, on paper, if they met you, and would they like you? Would they say, oh, I want to date you, you're someone that I could see myself long term with? And if you're not, then you have to do the due diligence and put in the work to make yourself like that. Like, I know, because they always say you attract who you are, right? Birds of a feather flock together. I just see 1, 2, 3 on the clock. You attract who you are, right? Birds of a feather flock together. And we all are at different points in our life, right? Different life stages. And if that saying is true, then sometimes we could be with the wrong person, because that person is a mirror image or a reflection of ourselves, right? Because we attract who we are, what we're like. So if you haven't done the work on yourself first, then you're going to attract an equal counterpart to who you are in the present moment. So my entire life, and I have a lot of self-awareness, so I've been very diligent about trying to figure, because I kept telling myself, why, for me specifically, and I don't want to get into the whole narcissist empath paradigm thing, but for me, I've found that I've attracted a lot of narcissists, repetitively. And I don't know why, and I do have a very kind, congenial nature, and that could lend itself to being a people pleaser or walked all over, and I've tried to work on that, and that could be very dangerous in relationships and connections, because I'm not a demonstrative, strong personality. I'm very steadfast in my belief system and my core values, but for the most part, I'm just not a strong personality. Like, I'm the person, I'll sit in the back, or I'll just be there and I'll be like, yeah, and I'll throw in my 2 cents when I need to and things. But I'm generally not the person that's like, hey, look at me, I want the attention. That's not me. But what I found is that I have attracted narcissist people who they'll take and they'll take and they'll take, and then when they don't get their way, they'll project it onto you, or they'll guilt trip you, and then I'll feel bad. But then in my heart, I know that I'm being guilt tripped, and it's frustrating. So for me, and I don't know if that's a spiritual thing, I don't know if it's a past life thing, I just know that that's what I've attracted. So, because I have on paper what I've wanted, I say, oh, I want someone who's athletic, or, works out and maybe goes to the gym, but is not overly prideful, but does it for health reasons, to keep themselves fit, like I need to do. I need to do yoga, and I haven't done yoga, or I need to meditate, I haven't done meditation. Also because I felt like I was being murdered, so that's another, caveat in that. But nonetheless, I'm still here, and I feel blessed for that. My stomach does hurt still on the side, but I'm gonna push through it, because I'm a warrior. And I carry on. And that's it. But yeah, the main point of what I'm trying to say is that having that list of qualities is important, because it'll give you a framework, and you want that, because if you go willy-nilly and you're like, I don't care, I'll just hook up with whoever and I don't really need it, whatever, if I like them, if they're hot, if they're good looking, F it, I just wanted to, hook up with that. Like, that's immature, If you want to be your best self, right? I've learned that you have to become your best self, number one, but if you want to attract people who resonate with that same energy that you have, or that vibration, then you have to sort of do the inner work to figure out the parts of yourself that need fixing. Because what happens is, when people don't know themselves, or they haven't done the inner healing work, they end up either attracting a partner who is in that same vibration or same phase, I guess, and then they become codependent on one another. It becomes very tumultuous, because then each person is becoming self-reliant on the other one to fulfill parts of themselves that they're lacking, and then they latch onto them and they go, I need you in my life, versus, I always say, you don't want to need someone in your life, you want to have someone because they complement your life, right? They add nuances of color and different shades of things that you never thought you could learn, but before. I always say that I want to meet people who broaden my horizons, who expand my soul, right? Or help my soul, contribute to my soul's growth in some way. And not in like an abusive way, like teaching me to like tolerate abuse, but like someone who makes my mind tinker and think about things a little differently. And I have met people like that. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for whatever reason. I just, but I have had the pleasure and the fortune enough to meet people, guys like that, who are brilliant, smart, and I forgot why it didn't work out. Maybe I thought they were hitmen. I don't know. Yo no sé qué. But I would rather take brains over bronze any day. And but I do believe that you kind of have to shift gears, and you have to do the inner healing work first, because then if you get into a partnership and you don't, like, not to say you don't know yourself, but like, if there's pain anywhere in your life, or if you feel inadequate in any way, and I know, I'm telling you, I know I would probably do this 100%, then you end up latching on, because I've done it before. I've had a trauma bond with someone before, and I also looked at the potential of someone versus like the actual reality of someone, because I end up seeing their soul and their realness like underneath what they project or put out. And you can't fall in love with potential. You have to actually, like, you want to actually see them for who they are, because you can't be the one to trigger their growth. I mean, or be responsible for their growth, or try to, like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, kind of thing. And that's why, going back to the whole list thing, it would be an interesting, I don't say experiment, but it would be interesting to see if someone creates a list of like the qualities they want in a partner, and then if they reflected back on it and they looked at it and said, how many of those attributes do I actually possess myself? And say, would you want to date that person? Like, would you want to date you? That I think would be really interesting. Because I remember when I did my list, I realized I need to be more diligent with my exercise regimen. because I go, would I want to date me? Am I dateable? You know, like I go, would I want to date me? Right now in this circumstance, I mean, it's hard. Like the dude who's gonna have to, because it's not easy. Like I know I was come up against hardcore, like 100%. And the woman I am today is not the same. I mean, I'm still the same Ashley, like from a few years ago, like when I did Child Life or whatever. I'm just a little bit more demonstrative. Like I'm a little bit more, like I'll speak up about things. Like if there's something that irks me or bothers me, I will speak up about it, like 100%. Like if I see someone being bullied, I will speak up about it. If I see someone being insensitive or rude, I will speak up about it. If I'm doing something insensitive or rude, I will take accountability for it. But, whatever. I wonder if it's the cookie that's causing my stomach to feel funky. Who knows? Oh, no. La misma mierda. I just push through it. I'm like, I tell myself it's not there. The pain lets you know you're alive. And that's it. And if I kick the bucket, then at least I know I tried. Even though I'm not really I don't have any health insurance, so I don't know how that would work out. Right, baby? Did I drink all my milk? Wait, how many nuggets do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I should have one nugget over there in the right. I wish I got papitas now. Here, you get this piece. I need to give you water though after. Down. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. It's 1:33 in the morning. It's fine. Here. I hope this doesn't get you sick, but I really hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't get me sick. Stop. I feel like I'm supposed to do a speech. So that's kind of how I see it, but I did actually, there was one moment in time where I looked at my list and I was like, but do I possess these qualities? And then I realized I had changes to make, because I was like, if I want to meet a guy who's studious and honest, and I am honest, like that's across the board. Like I cannot lie. I will turn as red as a tomato if I lie. Like, will God strike me dead? Not really. I don't really mean that. I take it back. Please don't strike me dead. I don't mean that. I'm saying it facetiously. It's a joke. But literally, like I don't lie. I should probably not lie more, but just know how to. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that because I don't believe in lying, or even twisting the truth. I don't believe in that. What? What, baby? What was I gonna say? But yes, maybe start with the list. And if you're at the point in your life, no matter where you are, I've seen a video of a lady who's like in her 80s or 90s, and she's legit in a nursing home, and she's combing her, she's like, come with me while I go on my date. And she uses like this little afro pick, and she's like, while I go on my date for the meet my boyfriend. And I'm like, this lady's so cute. And she's in her little like chair, and she's like, I'm putting on my blush. And she's like, come, he's in the nursing home. And I'm like, kudos to you, lady. I'm like, kudos, because we all deserve to find love, right? Like, you don't want to find it in the wrong places, but we all deserve to have love and find love, because I think you don't want to go through this life alone. And if you want to have better relationships, I think it starts with yourself first. That's, I mean, just from what I've seen, like, if you know yourself, and I'm not talking about like confidence, like I'm sassy and Z formation bitch, not like that. No, I mean like, if you know yourself and you know what you want, and you don't have to be overly gregarious about it and like super demonstrative, you know yourself, that will radiate outwardly, and people will see that and they'll go, oh, I think that resonates with my vibe, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe, from what I've understood or learned. So, and I've kind of, but then I tell myself sometimes, I will be honest, and I go, why is it that I don't have, like, why is my friend circle so small? Like, what's my vibe? Like, why am I not attracting, you know, certain people? You know, because I go, I'm kind, I'm nice, I treat people with respect, and I'm a little weird, but that's, you know, that's okay. Like I literally, I would love to go to like a jazz club one day, even if it was by myself. Like, I love jazz. I haven't listened to jazz music in a long time. It kind of reminds me of La La Land a little bit. If you haven't seen the movie La La Land, jazz was like a big deal in that movie. And I was a theater kid. Can't say I'm a theater kid now, but like I loved dance. I loved musicals, like Singing in the Rain, South Pacific, Carousel. Like I always think I was born in the wrong era. I really do, because I don't know. I just feel like I'd be more suited to like, I don't know, the golden age of Hollywood, or just like, I don't even think the 1940s or 1950s. Just, it was, even though the gender roles were super like gender specific, but either way, yeah. So, but it's fine. I mean, I've learned to manage as best as I can, and you know, one day hopefully I'll meet someone who will appreciate those things, you know, within me, that are a little bit different and unique, and then I can, like, you know, there's like memes where they say someone's weirdness matches your weirdness. It's because we're all weird in our own way. Like, there's people who are like hardcore bikers with like the little leather jackets and with a little fringe hanging off of it, and they're like out in the open road, and people have little long beards, and then they meet the biker chick who, you know, in the Route 66 bar, and they're like, hey, let's drink moonshine together. And I'm like, you know, love is love. You find your person. There's people who are hardcore gamers and they love anime and they find their person. There's people who, girls who are super into sports, and the guys are super into sports, and they went to college football games and this and that, and they love their alma mater, and more power to you, you know. For me, I don't really know, bro. I feel like I can get along with anybody, but it's just, but actually, like, having it stick is different, you know. So we'll see. We shall see. Yo no sé qué. Je ne sais pas. Which I think means I don't know in French. Maybe I'd have better luck abroad. I don't know. Maybe Spanish men are better. I don't know. Or Parisian men. I don't know. Parisian men? I don't know. Italian men? I don't know. German men? Don't know. Swiss men? Norwegian men? Don't know. Russian people? Don't know. All I know about Russia is they make, it sounds so stereotypical, vodka, right? Like, because of the Stoli, is Stoli or Svedka? Which is the one? No, Grey Goose is French. Smirnoff, that's the one. I think it was Smirnoff. Smirnoff and, oh, my stomach. I'm gonna pretend the pain's not there. I probably ate something with, who knows, arsenic or mercury. It's same old, same old. Another day, another dollar. Right? La misma mierda. You can't have the cookies, baby. That's not for doggy food. That's human food. Hold on. Espérate un momentico, por favor. So, but maybe, who knows? Maybe one day if I do ever go abroad, I can record and chronicle my experiences abroad. Because honestly, I think gang stalking happens everywhere, so it really doesn't. It's futile. I think it doesn't matter if I went to fucking Australia. I don't know what Australian men are like. Have I met an Australian? No. I met Canadians. I met one Austrian dude. Not Australian, Austrian. British dude. One allegedly who said he was Russian. He was very cute too. He was very cute. But then for some reason, something told me, I'm like, what if he's British? I don't know why. That was in Vermont. Anyways, is it true that everything's better in Britain? I don't know. Any Hoosiers, or any Hoosiers. No, but we're saving this. We're saving these, we're saving these. There's a lot of them. I wish I got papitas, but it's fine. Papitas probably would have been worse. Any Hoosiers. Key takeaways. Making a list is a good thing. Look at the list and ask yourself, do you possess the traits and qualities on that list? Would you want to date yourself? Do you think that that dream person would want to date you? And if not, what can you do to change that to become that person that you would wish that dream person? Because don't forget, you can have that on paper, but that dream person ain't gonna come. Not the dream person, but that's not dream person. I don't want to say dream person. Not the perfect person, the right person. Because no one's perfect. Nobody's perfect. At all. But the right person. Right, Viber? And friendship. I think friendship is key. Because when you're friends with somebody, I think it makes it a heck of a lot better. And I don't mean like, oh, my bro, yeah. Dude, no, like, yeah, bro, like, no. Like, I mean like, I don't know, like you can talk to someone for hours about like anything, and you can, it's kind of like, what's that movie, The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler, where he's like, the song I Want to Grow Old With You, that kind of thing, and The Notebook, which, I don't know if that's a true story or not, but that's kind of how I see it. You know, I do believe true love exists. I know it sounds very like idealistic and stuff, but I think if you give up believing in that stuff, then, you know, and I don't want to bring religion into it and God and all that, but if God exists, you know, if God, Christ, all that, because we are, you know, made in the image of that, and you have animals, right, dogs, cats, squirrels, pandas, that love unconditionally, then why can't we do that? You know? And there's 8 billion people in the world. How could there not be somebody that you say, hey, and it's hard because you know, dating is hard because trying to figure out, and then there's some people where they're like desperate to make it work and you're like, no. And I've learned that the hard way. Do not try to force something with someone that clearly, you know, doesn't, you know, like you'll know. And that was my fault with certain individuals in the past, where I guess because of trauma bonding and stuff, because I was going through a really hard time, I latched on to certain people, and I ignored the signs, and I tried to project this idea or image of someone who really, at the end of the day, I just think he was supposed to play a part in my life, and I latched onto him because I thought he brought me safety and security, and in actuality it was just, I think, more of a sexual thing than anything. And I think he expressed himself a certain way and I expressed myself a certain way, and our just communication styles were not aligned. But maybe in another, what's that song by Katy Perry, In Another Life, I would make it, The One That Got Away. I guess that's the song, but I don't feel like he got away from me. It's just, I got away, you know. But, and I realize after I go, you know, if someone's not giving their 100% to get to know you, you know, and making an effort to talk to you and see you and all that, and they probably don't like you. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's like, you know, that movie, he's just not that into you, with Justin Long and Ginnifer Goodwin and Scarlett Johansson and Bradley Cooper. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because it sucks being rejected. It sucks being the option, you know, but you learn from that and you grow from it, and you say to yourself, you know, I deserve better. You know, no amount of attention that you give someone, even if you like try to force them to like you and you're like, please talk to me, it won't work if they don't like you. You know, it won't work, because, you know, maybe you're not their type, maybe, you know, and that's okay. And, you know, because if you're, you know, what is it, what's one man's trash is another man's treasure, or what's one person's no is another person's yes. And maybe if it wasn't meant to be with that person, but it'll be meant to be with another person. So, and also guard your heart too, because humans, we are very fragile creatures. And my dog Bonnie is literally like, I'm gonna record this on my phone, because it's pretty funny. No, I wanted to. Fine. I was trying to record for Bonnie Shorts. The Bonnie Shorts, because she is very much wanting this bag of nuggets with that tail wagging. But no, no más. She's like, please, Mom, please. I want the nuggets. I don't even know if the nuggets are safe to eat, but I told myself, you know, with targeting and stuff, I said, I shouldn't have to adjust or limit my life or change my life around because people want to bully me. Like, I legit had people who I think wanted me to go camping and live like in a trailer or like in a tent and work from it. I kid you not, because I've had weird stuff happen in buildings. Bonnie, stop. I've had weird stuff happen with my food. I think people want me to go foraging in a forest. And I'm like, I deserve to live like a normal person, like everybody else. I deserve to date like everybody else. I deserve to fall in love like everybody else. I deserve to have a beautiful, wonderful life. And that's not being stuck up. That's not being pretentious. That's just me demanding respect, because I respect myself. And, you know, like, even if I get sick and I'm being poisoned every single day with my food, and that could be the case, but, you know, I do mind over matter, and I say, please God, you know, Lord God, protect me. Christ Jesus, let your light shine through me. Holy Spirit, fill me with every breath I take. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. That's literally what I say. Or are you doing a tinkle? Good tinkle, baby. Good tinkle. Good tinkle. So that's what I do. Does it work? I hope so. I think so. Maybe. My pain, I do have a really bad pain in my side, in my stomach, and it might be from the cookies. But, you know what? You say, F it. And you do your best. And that's it. But I hope my words help somebody. I am not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. I was a child life specialist from 2015 to 2025. And I also was a registered yoga teacher. And within those things, I did provide like mentorship and guidance. And I've been thinking about doing like coaching and stuff. Not athletic coaching, but like life coaching. But it costs a lot of money. And I don't have that. There's a lot of things I want to do. I've been interested in doing cybersecurity, even though I'm not really that tech savvy. But any hoosiers, in honor of Chicago and the Midwest. I hope my words of wisdom help somebody. And I hope, another thing is to, one thing I want to mention. It's called, there's a word called limerence. And limerence. Limerence versus love. Limerence is an involuntary, intense state of romantic infatuation and obsession characterized by a compulsive need for... Bonnie, eso... Ya, basta. Characterized by a compulsive need for reciprocation, intrusive thoughts, and emotional highs and lows based on the limerent object's actions. It is distinct from mature love, focusing more on obsession and fantasy than genuine connection. That is what you don't want to do. Meaning, when you're in limerence, you over-idealize, you over-romanticize a situation, you don't see something for what it is, you neglect and shy away from reality, and you fall in love with the more romantic aspects of a relationship versus the actual dynamic and connection itself. So you want to be mindful of that. And look, it says unrequited obsession. An individual spends months or years fixated on a colleague who has shown little to no romantic interest. Reading into small neutral gestures like a polite smile is confirmation of reciprocation. People who make drastic life changes, changing one's habits, fashion, or even career to align with the imagined desires of the limerence object or person, the object of someone's desires. So that's not, I want to make sure that's not what I meant when I talk about aligning yourself with whatever's on a list of attributes for a partner, a high quality partner. At that's not what I meant. I don't meant to be in limerence or in lust over that or being overly obsessed with that. What I mean is that you have to do the work yourself and like self-development and self-improvement in order to attract that kind of individual into your life. So that's kind of what I mean with that. So it's not obsessive, you know, but that limerence is infatuation, obsessive love, madly in love, passionate love. And that's interesting too. That there's a song, I'll never forget, there's a song by Taylor Swift called Red. And it says, loving him was like driving a new Maserati down a dead-end street, faster than the wind, passionate, and ended so suddenly. Usually things end the way that they start out, meaning that if you are so infatuated and enamored with someone, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be by that person's side, like 24/7, and or else I'll die and I can't live anymore, and if they don't like me, then I'm worth nothing. Like, that is limerence. Being confident in oneself and confident in one's relationship and being mature about it is, I think, like I said, in my opinion, you start off in a very friendly manner. And I'm not talking about hookups and flings. I'm not talking about sexting and like, oh, you're so like little. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like when you genuinely put the intention to cultivate some kind of relationship or connection with someone. It's based on a foundation of mutual trust and support and friendship and commonalities or like common interests. So that's not limerence. That's like respect and maturity and things like that. So no, that's something I just wanted to touch on, because I think limerence is like you become overly smitten with someone, and you kind of ignore the more mundane aspects of it, or more realistic aspects of it, and you focus on the over-idealized, romanticized aspects, which is like focusing on the idea of having a partner versus the partner themselves, if that makes sense. And some people, what they do is they don't care about the person, they actually just settle for someone, for anybody, for somebody. And that's sad. And then they end up miserable. So, yeah. Let's see, limerence versus love. Limerence is driven by desire, obsessed with validation. makes changes to gain approval, emotionally turbulent, dependent, and possessive, avoids conflict by idolizing the limerent object, all or nothing attachment. It sounds like a very narcissistic, codependent relationship. Versus love, it says, is rooted in connection, grounded in clarity and communication, accepts each other's flaws, is emotionally steady, independent yet bonded, faces conflict with honesty and understanding, grows with their partner. Interesting. Limerence, again, sudden instant attraction, compulsive all-consuming thoughts and fantasies about the person, blindness for red flags. I did do this, so I'm kind of guilty of that. Doing anything for their validation, letting your well-being depend on their reaction/attention, bodily reactions such as anxiety, sleeplessness, not being able to eat. So basically you focus on all your attention on one person. That's what limerence is, versus love is more mature and grounded and not emotionally volatile or chaotic, or simply rooted or based on intimacy or sexuality or desire. So just thought I would touch on that for a little bit. So I hope, again, it helps somebody. I know it helps me when I talk about it and I think through it. I did do a video actually on, I think it was embracing singlehood, or something about loneliness or something like that. Being single is okay. It's not a bad thing. It gives you more time to focus on yourself. I will say, being someone who's a trauma survivor, if you will, it is harder to be alone, because just for safety and security purposes, I get scared being alone. Like even now, like eating food, I'm like, I go, who can I call if I like get sick, or I'm in such pain, or like I faint, or I lose consciousness? Like, who do I call? You know, I've had it to the point where I'm like, I'll be eating, and I'm like, hey, can I call you while I'm eating because I'm scared about my food getting tampered with, or, you know, and I really don't know who to call at this point. And I really don't want to bother anyone either. So, you know, it would be nice to have someone by my side who I know would never hurt me, and I can trust completely, and, you know, but we'll see. Only time will tell, you know. But again, hope that helps somebody. This is for, I don't want to say entertainment purposes, but more so peer support. Just a, you know, young woman's perspective on dating, relationships, intimacy, and this is while going through a really horrible thing called targeting and gang stalking. But, you know, I'm figuring it out. I'm meandering my way through it, and I do have a really wonderful dog, you know, laying underneath my desk right now at my feet, who I'm so grateful is still alive, and I'm grateful I'm alive. And yeah, so I hope that helps somebody. Just a little bit of food for thought. And I am no expert by any means. I would love to one day, even if I'm like 40 or 45, because I don't know when the heck I'm going to be able to afford it. I have always wanted to become, as of late, a counselor, like a licensed marriage and family therapist with a specialization in sex therapy, because I think that would be really cool to study, to be a sex therapist, and not like in a very like kinky way, just like in a very mature, clinical professional way. Because I think we do need to, you know, sex is, it's either hypersexualized or misperceived. Like there's misconceptions with sex and stuff. So yeah, I would like to change that, you know, some way, somehow. And not like in a super religious-y, like, you know, oh, like, you have to wait till marriage and stuff. I just think the conversation needs to shift a little bit. Like, I wish in middle school, and I went to a Catholic school, we didn't talk anything. We just learned about, our menstrual cycle. We learned about puberty, and that's it. They didn't talk anything. And I actually learned about sex through my ballet friends, the girls I did ballet with. And I still didn't understand it. I didn't understand it until I watched pornography. Just change the C to a P. And that was when I was like 20 or 21 years old. So, we can put the corn people down, but, it educated this one right here to understand it. And I'm not going to put those people down because they did their service, but everything, I'm not condoning, like, I did a video actually on pornography last year and my take on that. And everyone has their different experience with it. That's how I learned about sex and stuff, so I'm not gonna put it down. So yeah, I hope my words help somebody. I hope I make it till tomorrow. It is already tomorrow. It's 2 a.m. But it's damn food. Someone does not like me very much, and they don't want to see me healthy, or they want to give me stomach aches or make me feel tired and drowsy and sick, and that is not cool. And if you are someone that knows about it and you're not putting an end to it, then shame on you, because that makes you a accomplice to a hate crime or bystander or whatever. And we don't want that in life. We want people who will help people, if they're in trouble or in danger. So hopefully that helps bring some, a little more nuggets, planting seeds in someone's mind about relationships and stuff, and get us become more, I guess, conscientious and aware of, how, our thoughts and actions and our behaviors align with each other, and, how that drives our connections with one another. So, yay, psychology. I love psychology. I do have a master's in developmental psychology. So it's not like I didn't move forward to do like a PSYD, which is like clinical psychology. Like, I didn't pursue that or do residency or anything like that. I did study occupational therapy. I got into OT school, but that's a little bit different. That's more like range of motion, helping people with activities of daily living, things like that. But I decided I didn't go to OT school just because of personal things that happened. So hopefully that helps people, and your thoughts and prayers would be much appreciated, because I still am going through targeting and stuff, and my food is still being tampered with and messed with. It's just really, really, really sucky. And I didn't hurt anybody, and I don't know why people are doing it, and it's very mean. And it's not a funny joke. And I always say, like, if you wouldn't want it done to you, and I would say, why would people do it to me? So, if you know someone who's being affected by gang stalking or targeting, please take them seriously. It's not a joke. It's very real. And yeah. I mean, God bless to the people that are going through it. And I do want to live a normal life one day. And if you say, oh, then leave the United States, it's not that easy. You have to get a visa, you have to have money saved, you have to have a vocation, or a job lined up wherever you want to move to, and they have to accept you into their country, right? Because you're visiting their country. So I don't really even know where I would go to at this point. Because I really do think it happens worldwide anyways. But anyways, you make the best of it, you do what you can, and you keep calm and you carry on. So, when life seems hard, you have to dig your heels in and remember. What helps me is, I'm not kidding, is I've actually created a Pinterest feed because, and mind you, I can't afford like half of the shit that's on here. awareness was awareness lowers. I can't afford half of the stuff that's on here, but it's still fun. I do it more so like a vision board, if anything. So yeah. It doesn't kill you, mutates and tries again. That's funny. It's just, but yeah, I do create a Pinterest feed that does help me cope through things. I did create like I think it was a vision board, and I said, you know, dating relationship goals. One of my dating relationship goals is to, I don't know, meet a man that has a, or maybe I'll get a truck one day. I can't afford one at all. I can't afford diddly squat right now. But I would love to go on like, I saw it on Pinterest. They basically, it's like you get your truck, and then you put blankets and stuff in the back of the truck, and then you can put like a projector screen, and then you get popcorn, and like you make it really cute, and like, yeah, you have like a pickup truck date. I don't know. I just think it's cute, and I want to do it. But I don't know where the actual truck would go. I don't know if you'd go camping with it or whatever, but oh my god, this is too funny. The stuff that comes up in here, it says, "May they burn in hell." Oh my god. Literally, the little girl has been the funniest shit. My Pinterest feed is usually just stuff about baking and cooking. Like there's a cake with little M&Ms coming out of it. Looks like an Easter cake, which looks delightful, which I will save it if my phone allows me. No? Okay, well done. I tried. Okay, there we go. Or future things, desserts. But yeah. But never give up. And keep trying. And what the heck? Why is there Darth Vader in the... Darth Vader's not my favorite character at all in Star Wars. Rey is my favorite character. Why is this wedding season inspo? I don't care about wedding season. Yeah. So keep trying, never give up, and I hope you make a list of qualities and things that bring you joy, because I know for me, what in the world? The names of some of these people, I don't know. Yeah, because it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt to dream and imagine, because, right, the sky's the limit on your imagination, and you never know, maybe what you actually visualize can come true and come to life, you know? What was it Frank Lloyd Wright said, the belief in a thing can make it happen? So try to make it happen, you know? Play around with the universe. Say, hey, I want to meet this and this kind of person, and I want to meet them maybe by this date, and, you know, align yourself with things that align with that kind of individual, and then maybe see what happens. I don't know. People swear by manifestation and all that, so you never know. And it usually comes, I think, when you least expect it, so yeah. You are not alive just to pay bills and lose weight. I don't need to lose any more weight. So yeah, hope that helps somebody. Thank you for listening, and go make a list. I do think it's worth it. And love yourself first, you know. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself first. And I wholeheartedly believe that. God bless.